And I'm gonna go ahead and make you, well, once we're live. Good afternoon, everyone. We're gonna get started here in just a moment. We've got Leo Martinez with the Nebraska Enterprise Fund talking about setting prices today. Leo, do you want to try and share your screen for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're a little, just a tiny bit behind in getting things set up. I just want to make sure everything's working and I can see the screen. So it looks like we're working. All right, Leo, I'm going to go ahead and turn the webinar over to you and set you as host.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for your time,
Yeah.
Ray. Thank you so much for this space, for allowing us this space. My name is Leo Martinez with Nebraska Enterprise Fund. We are a community financial institution that provides capital for businesses that are not able to secure funding through any traditional way. We're here to help in technical assistance, training, coaching, and as well funding. Today, we're going to be talking about price setting and a few tips and tricks on how to effectively set in your prices for your product or services. This is going to be a snack bite presentation. It's not going to be in depth, just because it's more for you to see where you at or what questions you may have, and then we do have one-on-one coaching to talk about this in a separate setting. So if you would like to set a time to visit with me or anybody on the team, my contact information is going to be at the end of the presentation, and we were more than happy to set a time for you to talk to us. So I'm going to shut my video out really quick so I can share the presentation all together. And I would love for you guys to tell me if you had any, if you currently are in business, or if you are in planning to open a business, or I'm just curious to see. We usually have this meeting on live, so typically I ask you face to face, but I would love for you guys to tell me if you currently own a business or if you are looking to open a business. So I'll wait a little bit for you guys to answer, and feel free to leave it in the chat. All right. Okay. Well, wait a little bit longer, and then we can most definitely. Um, if you have any questions along the presentation, feel free to um, send or put something on the chat. That way, I can at least I know that you are um, that you have a question. All right. So let's begin. And I like to begin with a quote. So we'll start with a word of inspiration, where money is not only a tool, but it will take you whatever you wish, but it will not replace you as a driver. Um, a lot of the times we look at money as the main um, drive for us to start something or to do something, either to get a job or to get a new position. Also, a lot of the business owners tends to look at money as the only reason why they want to start a business. It's either because they need the additional income, or because they're sick of working at the place where they are and they don't feel that they're being compensated enough at the company or the institution where they are currently working at. So they decide to venture into their own into their own role, and they uh, one of the deciding factors is the money itself. And even though money is obviously good to have, it is not necessarily the best idea or the best reason why you should go into business. However, when you start a business and you don't necessarily have the right um, prices to start with, then you're definitely starting way behind the eight ball. And the reason why is because a lot of the times I have seen a lot of my clients, they start their business and set their prices accordingly to the competition. And we're going to be talking a little bit about pricing and pricing strategies. And one of them is the um, the penetration pricing strategy, which means that you will enter the marketplace with a low pricing to be able to be to either to beat your competition, to be at the same level of your competition, or to just introduce a new product. The problem with that is that the people that are already in business and you're trying to compete with, they either might already have a contract with someone that is selling them their prime products or their other resources or at a lower price, either because they've been in business with them with longer or they have special contracts with them, and then you're trying to introduce a new product with the same price tag, and you're more than likely are going to end up losing money rather than establishing your business in the right way. So why is setting pricing so important? And basically, it's because pricing is a decision that you get to make just once or twice when you go in there. A lot of my clients don't understand that um, you should at least monitor or update your prices at least twice a year to accommodate for either inflation or changes in the marketplace. And a lot of the clients, especially restaurants, don't 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 change their prices until about 1 or 2 years after they started their business or the product has already been launched. So one of the reasons, the most important element of your price is to make sure that it can sustain your business. If your price does not, or your product is placed as a loss, then you're automatically losing money as soon as people are buying your product. That being said, you have multiple options on how to really strategize to start placing your items the right price. So I have a couple, well, I have several strategies that I want to share with you. I'm still would love for you guys to share what industry are you are. Do you have products or do you have services? And if your business is active, or are you just starting to go into business? I would love for you guys to share on the chat. Are you in business? Are you just about to open, or are you? Do you have products or services for your business? All right, so you're just getting it started. Awesome. What's your industry? Do you what or do you sell products or services? You know, this is a lot easier when we have face to face, but definitely mowing lawns. All right, so service. Okay, great. No active as a business yet, looking into service. Okay, great. That's awesome, Kevin. Um, yes. So mowing lawns is a type of service. You might be able to sell products. Missy, I'm starting meal prep. Okay, so products. Uh, when it comes, and this is great because we have an example of both of them. Obviously, you want to get paid right away when you're doing a service, especially lawn mowing. Typically, unless you're under a contract, you get paid once you're done mowing the lawn, right, Kevin? So you want to make sure that you get paid once right away so you can keep the cash flow of your business. And when we're talking about products, you get paid typically once the person purchases the product, so you don't have to wait for an invoice to be printed or anything like that unless you again you're selling to a big company or on bulk. So that's great, awesome. So I'm gonna share with you several strategies of pricing. We're not gonna go in depth into all of them. We're really just gonna touch a little bit on them. Um, the ones that I really want to focus is for you guys to understand that there's a lot of different ways for you to set pricing and how to really strategize when you're uh, when you're really targeting your audience. And one of the things that I would love to focus about is especially maybe on the lawn services, the penetration pricing, especially if you're competing with other companies. Kevin, you're more than likely are my either thinking to doing this strategy. Also, the value base will be one that you can most definitely look into. Geographic pricing as well, especially if you're just not doing Omaha, but if you're looking into any other areas out there, um, that's something that you would like to do. And for the meal prepping, I think let's see, you probably are gonna look into the high and low pricing. The freemium, depending on what is it that you're doing, that'll be something that you can definitely look into it. So I'll explain them a little bit. I'm not gonna touch all of them just for time's sake. But if you guys want one-on-one coaching on these, feel free to grab my contact information at the end of the session, and we'll be more than happy to review your business and help you with pricing strategies for your business. The freemium um, in this particular example means that you will start a your program, your service at a either this discounted or a free value, looking for the customer to upgrade to a premium pricing. If you think about it, you might see this when you are either getting a new cable service, or some type of service that you are um, get a introductory pricing for either reduced price or free for the next 3 months, and then you get the option of upgrading to a premium plan within 90 days, and then that locks you in for a year or 6 months. And depending again on what you're doing for the meal prepping, let's see if you are doing membership type wise or anything like that. Um, you can definitely start with a reduced price of a membership, or upgrade to a premium package for them to receive, I don't know, 3 or 4 meals per day, or if you want to do it per week, and they can get a free recipe book, or something like that. That's something just to think about. The high end though is when you start at a very high price, a comparison from the competence from your competitors, and then you start lowering your price as your product becomes less, um, per se, people stop buying it as much. One way of this to look at, I know one of these strategies Tesla uses this a lot. They introduce their vehicles at a high premium, and then eventually they start lowering their prices. That is something that you definitely can do as well, especially for the loan services too. If you have a package which will be on the value-based pricing, you can start with a high dollar amount and then start lowering it down to your clients, rather than doing it the other way around where you start your clients on a lower base, and then it's going to be harder for you to increase the pricing for them each year, especially since you need to adjust for the inflation and additional costs on it too. We talked a little bit about the penetration. The premium goes hand in hand with this one, with the freemium pricing. The premium is basically you just start, your product is limited or is not available to everybody, so you have the chance to charge a premium because of your service, and you're able to do that. And the bundle and the geographic pricing, uh, they are very similar, other than the changing on the location. Again, if you're doing lawn service, unless you do snow removal, then you're very seasonal, and you can only really do this, so many months during the year here in Nebraska, at least. If you are in a different state where it's sunny all the time, or and you're able to mow the lawn year round, then definitely it's a different way to look at it. But at least in Nebraska, you can bundle your snow plowing and your mowing services in one, unless you just want to charge them separately. But just being aware that anything that you get to do and the decision that you decide to take from now on how you price your products is important, especially because you want to make sure that um, you have an advantage for when you're starting to sell your products or business and you don't start on a loss. Do you guys have any questions before we jump into the next section real quick? No questions? All right, any comments? All right, if you have questions, comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. All right, so I have 3 strategies that I'm going to show you right now, or 3 ways that you can make sure that you have your prices right. And one of those is uh, to make sure that you add any variable cost. Now, this is very important because it's per product. We're not talking about everything in general. So this is specifically per product. Make sure that you add a profit margin that you want for your business. So even though you already know what your product baseline is going to be, what is the margin that you are going to end up making money off of? And depending on the industry, there's different margins that you can look into it. Fashion, clothing is higher than food and service restaurants. So definitely make sure that your industry, that you do your diligence and your homework to make sure what the profit margin for the industry that you're on. Um, and make sure that you don't forget about your fixed cost. Anything that you know that you have to pay every month needs to be added into your projections for your pay for your price, as well as it goes the other way around. Anytime that you have an increase on it, make sure that it's adjusted so you don't lose money on it. I had a client who he was paying taxes, but he was not charging taxes on his items. So at the end of the day, he ended up losing lots of money because he did not apply the taxes on the pricing of the products that he was selling. And therefore, at the end of the day, when he had to pay for taxes, he had to pay back quite a bit of money just because of that. So, all right. So, how did you add up your variable cost? So, say that you have your product and it costs you 325 to make. Say that you have um, I'm not sure. Mitzi, do you currently prepare any food that might cost around 325 for you to make? Maybe I'm not sure what type of food that you have, but say that you uh, maybe a pasta will cost you something like that to make. But the cost of goods sold is anything that you have added that is going to be sale per the item. This does not include anything that has to do with fixed costs, like is water, electricity, rent. That is not added into it. This is anything that has to do with preparing or producing the item that you're gonna sell. So in regards to food, anything that has to do with it, say meat, bread, lettuce, tomato, onions, um, the plate, the napkins, anything that you're going to utilize for it to sell the product that goes into it. Then you add your production time because obviously it takes time for you or your crew to make it. Your packaging will be your bags, your stickers, your logos, your propaganda, marketing, anything that has to do with it. Um, that falls into your promotional materials. And if you happen to send these, make sure that you add shipping to it as well. And talk to your local um, either mail carrier provider, either UPS or the post office, and to make sure that you can get a flat fee shipping, so you know exactly what you're going to end up charging your clients if you have a product that you're going to be able to ship. Otherwise, here's where you can lose money as well if you don't charge that to the client. There's sometimes that you see free shipping. It's either because they have a deal with the carrier. If they ship so many items, they have a deal with that, or they already included the pricing of shipping um, into the product as well. The affiliate commission, that is if you happen to have someone who's promoting your brand. Say that you have someone in Instagram, Facebook, or they're doing some AdWords for you and they're promoting it, and you know that you're gonna pay X amount of money for them um, to sell your product. And for every product they sell, they get $2 commission for that. So that's what the affiliate commission is. And not only everybody has it, but say for example for the lawn service, you have an affiliate that you are paying them for every time that you get a client, $2. So that will be someone that is working for your business, actively looking for clients for you, and every time they get commission, they get a client for you, you'll pay them a small commission. People call it finder's fee, but in the industry, it's more of an affiliate program. And you don't have to have it, but if you do, make sure that you add it into the cost. And in this case, adding everything together, it gives you a grand total of 1428 for a product that has been made. This could be either food, this could be a clothing, this could be, um, you know, anything that you can either sell or consume. I highly doubt this could be something that you can use as a service. Any questions so far? No? All right. Now, after you already calculated your price, make sure that you add your profit margin for these. So in this particular case, we want a 20% profit um, of the items that we're selling. So, for example, we got 1428 in this, and we want 20% profit on it. So we're gonna divide that into 0.8, which means that we're really getting that. So we can come up with the total of it, which in this case will be $18.27, um, if I'm not mistaken for it. And that is really going to give us the 20% profit margin that we want out of this. So in reality, this is what it really costs us to make, plus the 20% margin profit. We're going to be selling this around $18, $18.50, and we're going to be selling that to the public on that. That tells us that we have already a profit on top of what it really costs us to make. And that's how we know that we're not selling ourselves short when we're talking about selling a product. Otherwise, if you have not calculated any of these into your equation, then more than likely you're already selling your product at a loss, and your business is going to hurt in the next few months if this happens to be one of your best sellers, just because you're not pricing it accordingly. And then at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you don't forget to add your fixed cost to it. So in this case, if you happen to do, if this happens to be apparel, and you have to display it at a store, or you have to hire a model or someone um, to showcase the product for you, make sure that you add those added values, those added costs to it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make any of that money as a profit. So, for example, just for this example particular, say that we price it at 1428, $18.50 with margin profits, and it costs us another $3 or $4 to add it to make sure that we add it for display or anything like that. So we're gonna be placing that at around $21 um, to the public, and that is a big difference between 21 and $14 that we will be selling it um, if we did not price it accordingly. Does that make any sense for you guys? Anybody lost yet? Any questions so far? We're almost done. We're about three more slices, and we should be able to wrap this up. But do you have any questions at all, by any chance? Anybody? No questions? Are you sure? All right. All right. Sounds good. Well, let's continue. Make sure to consider the following. Make sure that you take time to calculate your cost before you start setting prices or just throwing numbers in the air and say I'm gonna sell it for, say that you mow a yard depending on the house, just because you're looking at it and you say that's gonna take me about an hour and a half to do. I'll just charge $45 on it for that, um, without even taking in consideration, what is your time worth, what is the gas that you're spending, uh, you know how much do you pay yourself, is it marketing or the time that you spend reaching out to get paid. So make sure that you calculate your cost first. Make sure that you look at the market as well. Obviously, if there's other houses around the area that is getting mowed and they're getting because there's multiple neighbors that are hiring the same company, and they're giving them a discount for referrals. Instead of charging them $45, that's what you would, they're charging them $30, $29, $25, because the reason why they can do that is they don't have to be traveling or wasting their crew time um, at that moment. So they are able to do some sort of discount if they have multiple houses to do in the same area. So make sure that you take in consideration your market as well, and make sure you come up with a fair profit margin. Obviously, if you happen to be charging 45, again, this is just an example. I'm sure I have my amounts wrong, but say that you're charging $45 to do a lawn, um, and in reality, that costs about $35 or $40. It's a fair what you're charging the client. And the reason why this is so important is because here where it comes to referrals. If your client is happy, then they're going to refer you to other folks as well, and your business start growing. And make sure that you get to know your customer. Make sure that you know that the client who you're dealing with is going to be able to afford your services. Many times, depending on the area, there's some folks that might ground their teeth because you're charging too much in their eyes, or they may take advantage of you because they think you're charging too little and they just don't say anything. So make sure that you do your diligence to get to know your customers as well. And the more you get to know them, either you can give them a discount or you can get them a referral program, and then either help them as well as they go. You refer to two of your friends, and if they sign up for us to become clients, then you get your thermal at discounted price. Don't ever send anything for free, because your services are not free. And that's why it's so important for you to know how much your products and your services are at, because then you can say, I'm gonna give you 25% discount on your next visit. You're not losing money; you're just breaking even, and that's really important so your business doesn't lose money. And then at the end of the day, consider the time that you invested on it. If it's you trying to hunt clients, or if it's you trying to make any product, make sure that you consider that as well. So other than that, the critical points that we're going to talk that we already talked about today is to make sure uh, that you understand who are your clients, and make sure that your price is fair, and that the products and services that you have are the right price. You want to make sure that none of that is is not just taken lightly. And just to finish up, again, I love quotes. So words of inspiration for you. I'll leave this here for you to take again. Money is not everything in life, but if you're not in business to make money, then you're not in business at all. There's a very it's a very great line where you're giving things for free and it's still working for someone. Then you just become an employee of your customer, and that's just not what business is like. Other than that, here's my contact information. Again, this was a snack bite of this topic. We do one-on-ones coachings. If you want or need help with your business and your pricing strategy, feel free to get in contact with us. We'll be more than happy to put you in contact with either a loan officer or business mentor. And I'll be more than happy to talk to you guys as well. I do want to thank you, all of you, for your time. I do want to take this space for allowing us the opportunity to be here and to share this with you guys. I'll open it up for questions for the next 2 minutes. And if not, then we'll say goodbye. Any questions that you guys may have by any chance? Going once. Going twice. No? All right. Well, make sure that you grab my contact information in case you need it. And that being said, thank you again for both of you. Thank you for everybody who's watching us on Facebook, and for all of you guys for watching the replay. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this space, and we'll be in contact soon. Have a great day.